What it do, good people? Coming to y'all live from Tez TV. I'm your host, Don Tez Dean. Baltimore, stand up. What it do, good people? Come y'all live from Tez TV. I'd like to thank y'all for joining in. Today, we got a new member of that's joining the team, a new addition to the roster, to the family, a king in his own right, Mr. Calvin Dotson. Speak your name.
Thank you, Tez. Thank you, man. Pleasure to be back with you in the big fella dip, be with the big fellas. Calvin Dotson, man, the third, Coach Dotson. That's my name. C. Dot.
Now, people, y'all we got some things in store for y'all, locally and nationally. Baltimore, we about to put y'all on fire. I'm gonna let y'all know that now. Production gonna go up, just a little bit of everything. We're just gonna sharpen it up so we can make sure these stories get further out than what they are right now. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for keep supporting, for showing the love and gratitude. However, we about to bring to y'all a show.
No question, Tez. No question. We're gonna put the effort in, and put the work in. That's all, and support one another. That's all. You done blazed the trail. You and Dipper done took the reins, man. And I feel like put the city on y'all shoulders and back, man. We here to just keep the movement going, man, and do all we can to support this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome aboard, brother. Calvin, love to have you, man. I feel like you're definitely a lovely addition to the team. We could use a guard's perception sometimes because Taz still think he a point guard from high school.
I mean, it ain't my fault. They kept me in the hole too long in Baltimore. That's what they did. The day show. Well, we're gonna have a few topics, but we're gonna start off with we want to discuss not just point guards because there's a lot of combo guards here that came out of Baltimore and around Baltimore County. So we want to talk about the underrated guards. Most underrated guards that they came out, or just may say we had a good high school career. Maybe didn't even go to college, but at the same time put that work in high school and put that work in on the rec. Today, I think we're gonna highlight Daevon. So, hey, Calvin, tell the people a little bit about Daevon. He came out in your year, right? 2000.
Yeah, Daevon. Interesting thing about Daevon, he finished up as a junior at Walbrook, my senior year, his junior year, but that was still his last year. He went on and played prep school at Notre Dame Prep. He played with Draper. Also played with Tricky, Lamont Keaton, better known as Tricky, another underrated guard from the city.
Shout out to Trick.
Yeah, for sure. Tricky. Man, shucks. I ain't gonna go on and give you stories about Tricky, but Daevon was a good compliment to Tricky, him and Draper, 3-guard attack. Like you say, Daevon's a big guard, about 6'4", slender, slim, could shoot it, could get to the basket. He played rec ball with Todd Galloway over at Bentlow and Tony Tucker, our teammate over at Dunbar coming out, Steve Miller. I want to say David Lum was on that team too before David, was between RIP Dave, was between Mount Royal and Bentlow. I want to say he and Tony, they formed a formidable front court there. But Daevon always, man, just had skills, Went on played at Louisiana Tech from I want to say 04 to 06. Around that time, that's when I was graduating college, 06. And I watched Daevon a lot on the tube, man. Got a lot of time, a lot of exposure, always seemed to be in the right place with the right crew, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, kids out there understand it's all about opportunity and being with the right crew sometimes, man. And Daevon always seemed to know how to pick them and be in the right situation. And his game just was smooth and sweet. Always complimented everybody around him, could shoot it, pass it. Play a little D as well, man. Getting that passing lane, get out. You know, definitely an underrated guard, man. Definitely underrated guard from the city.
What you think? What you say is would you say it was like that because he was a late bloomer?
Well, you know, like I say,
my father cut you off because my senior year, I remember Daevon.
Right.
I remember my senior year, and I'm like, well, who this kid? I'm like, yo, long with it, tall. You're not gonna take the ball from him.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was gonna be a problem. I knew he was gonna be a problem for everybody. Yeah,
like I say, he ran with a crew, Tez, and he did kind of develop a little late or kind of just waited his turn, was patient. I know he ripped the prep school scene up at Notre Dame. You know, that next year had a stellar year there. And then I think Todd fouled him that next year. Galloway came and went to Notre Dame prep after Todd played that year at City, if I'm not mistaken. But man, Daevon, yeah, like, you know, just always had an opportunity to play some good basketball. You know what I mean? And always was good with the ball, you know, could handle it, control it. Like you say, you weren't going to take it from him. And then he played that tough Baltimore defense, that West Baltimore baseline to baseline, you know, taking it personal on the defensive end and, you know, trying to turn you over and get into you and try to intimidate you a little bit. But nah, man, he was OG, man. He was a gangster on the court, man.
Man, shout out to Daevon, man. Shout out to Daevon Haskins. And he also made second team All Metro the year 2000. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was second team, man. Walbrook had a crew. You know, he could have been on first team, man. That year, that thing was stacked. That list was stacked, man. I vividly remember a number of guards and bigs on the roster. He was second team. No slight to him at all. You know, I remember we went into Walbrook and had a tough game with them that year, and you know, we outlasted them, but it was definitely a tough battle, and Daevon did his thing.
COVID-19. I mean, it been a pain, not a pain. It's just been news for all of us, just something new. You know what I'm saying? It's been scary at times. It's been up in the air. We don't know what we here to talk about the sports, and we talk about fall and winter sports. And some people thinking it's not going to be a season, a football season or basketball season. So I would like to talk about some of the things that COVID affected and what's going on moving forward, and tell people that it will be a season, football and basketball. It just may not be a whole season. Y'all know it's not going to be conventional. However, we're going to see some type of sports. But Coach Cal, talk to us. Coach Dip, talk to us. Let the people know what's going on. How y'all feel about what's going on right now?
You go ahead, Dip. Tell us about what the West Coast looking like out there, man.
Okay, so out here, with the COVID over here in Oregon has agreed that sports can come out and play, but there is no fall sports in Oregon. And that's causing a serious problem where, for example, a lot of the top players are transferring out of state to go play. Because Utah, Idaho, they playing, right?
Okay.
So the kids is like, first OSAA came and said, yeah, season will start close to November. Then scratched it all and says, it's going to be spring football. Basketball starts in January or even March, and it's just going to be a short season. So what they're like, the top players in the state say they can't take the risk. They're leaving out, and they're not playing. Pac-12, I think Pac-12 is the final Power 5 conference. I think they got the okay. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look at it while we're doing this right now and see if they agreed to play because Oregon State, they're practicing, but I'm not sure if the game's going to be going on with the Pac-12 yet.
Yeah, man, that's a good point you make about getting in and out of the state. That's a dicey situation. Both sides of the coin, right? You know, whether you stay home and you say, you know, you take a chance and you just hope that you're recruiting and the work that you've put in and your respective, you know, sport, you hope that that's paid off and you've done enough. But the thing I think people need to know and need to be focused on in terms of recruiting, man, the college landscape, these whole unofficial visits, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big part of recruiting. And it's a way that families and athletes get a chance to learn about school without much expense or without taking much risk, right? Or having much commitment. And right now, COVID has major impact on that right now. Kids are restricted even on just taking unofficials, right? You can't cross state lines. Certain states have, you know, on the CDC list, you know, where you got to quarantine for 14 days upon returning, or, you know, you're taking a major risk, not going out and, not going out for the unofficial, you know, so if you do or don't, you're taking a major risk, man. And so you got to weigh your options, still got to go out and, you know, forward your process and make sure that you're, you know, still forwarding your recruitment and still showing that interest. But yeah, man, those unofficials, man, they really been hurting a lot of kids and restricting a lot of families from getting out and seeing what their options are.
Now, let me ask you something. How about the SAT?
Mm-hmm.
How about the SAT? I heard right now that like they not accepting the test for this year, or I'm not sure. I heard that through the grapevine. I didn't read it.
Give me 1 second. Ted.
So here's what I know for last year. So last year with the kids that just, you know, the class of 2020, they exempted, from my understanding. I felt like it got exempt and kids were allowed to, you know, go and get in. And the testing part didn't, because it couldn't be done, right? You got to go in and take the test. You can't take the SAT, the ACT on the computer at home, right? So they exempted for the 2020 class. I have a feeling with the way the COVID's going on right now, my guess is it's going to roll into next year, and the 2021 class might be in the same boat and might get test exempted. That's what I believe. That's what I think can happen. Not 100% sure. And
yeah,
back to the Pac-12 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's looking like maybe a short season, but it's not 100% guaranteed it's coming back. But it's going to talk. It's going to talk.
How y'all feel though? I mean, because it's different, and it's different for everybody. As far as the kids now, they taking virtual classes online. Have you talked to some of your? Cameron, I know you talked to your players. Mm-hmm. How they adapting to that? How they adapting to that process? Because you have your private school kids that been working virtual and been on online and sending assignments, and then you have some of your city schools. Majority of your city schools, I don't even know if all the kids had tablets yet.
Right. No, it's a challenge, I'm sure, in this public school system and even in some of the private school systems when you just talk about technology, right? So what I just had to do, right, go grab my charger and get plugged in, like just little things like that could go wrong when you talk about staying engaged with virtual learning, right? At Gilman, yeah, the kids are a lot more equipped and a lot more prepared for the virtual learning and have done some virtual learning even prior to COVID. You know, that's a part of their curriculum, you know, having devices and things like that. So kids are pretty lucky, and the class sizes are smaller, much smaller than even, again, some of the private schools. You know, I went to Mount St. Joe. Mount St. Joe classes, easily 15, 20, 25 kids in some of the classes as well. So it's a large school, large enrollment. And the more kids, the more issues, the more appetite you have for, kids being disengaged or not having the proper amount of resources. So best you can do, man, is just, again, stay engaged, family support, coaches, coaches got to step outside of that scope, man, and do a little more than just coach. You got to be involved, and that's why it's a good thing when you got some coaches that are a part of the school system and the school staff, or at their respective school, wherever they may or may not, coach at. But it's just about collaborating, being engaged, doing all the little things when it comes to technology. I'm on my son, he's in the 4th grade. I'm on him all day trying to teach him how to just send emails, send messages to his teacher, letting him know when he was, having technical issues or having some other problems, separate from just trying to learn. It's twofold, man, but we got to weather the storm, man, and try our best to support one another. And these teachers, man, hats off to them, because they got a lot on their plate as well.
Now we're going to change the channel, people. Spotlight a high school player right now. This player that I'm speaking of, Trey Alexander, out of Oklahoma, Midwest City. No, he go to Heritage Hall High School out of Oklahoma City, right?
Gotcha.
His father was in Midwest City. So anyway, the kid top 50 in the country.
Who is mother and father?
His mother's father, Steve and Monique Alexander. that's what his father is.
Who is mother and father?
Yeah, his mother father Steve. His mother father Steve and Monique Alexander.
Oh, okay, I know that.
He number one shooting guard in his area. He number one shooting guard in his area, number 11 in the country.
Gotcha.
The schools that's recruiting him, and he's open right now. Don't nobody got a leg up on him or nothing, but he's open right now. You got Arkansas, Florida State. We got Grambling State into the mix, the HBCU, Kansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma State, SMU, TCU, and Texas A&M. And I think I want to say Texas Tech also.
Who does he play for in the summertime? Like, what's his level of competition?
He played
with circuit,
he played with Tane Griffin.
Okay.
Yeah, he played Tane Griffin.
Nike team.
Yeah, Nike team.
Yeah, EYBL circuit.
Yeah, this year, as far as the summer, they ain't really played. So he played with a few other teams because it wasn't really too many tournaments. Right. But this I would like to ask people that rank those high school players. How can your ranking drop if nobody playing? I don't get that.
Right. Sound like his recruitment is open from the sounds of it. Tez named a lot of schools from HBCUs to Big 12, Pac-12, all across the board, SEC. So that's good, man. I'm happy for the young man. Wish him the best, in his recruitment and his process. And you got to get outside the box, man. I always talk about it. Shout to my YouTube page, Outside the Box. No content on there at all. But, we're going to get some more in there. You got to get outside the box, man, when it comes to this recruitment. And, more power to this kid taking recruitment on by the horns and doing whatever he needs to do to get his exposure and get his motor and his level of competition up. You know what I mean? And get
he come from a sports background. His father was my point guard in junior college, right? Then he got an uncle. He got an uncle, Trey Alexander, went to GW, that's still playing overseas. Then he had another uncle, D'Angelo Alexander, that went to Oklahoma and then finished at UNC Charlotte, went overseas for a little bit. His mother was a volleyball player in high school, also in junior college. Mm-hmm. So, he come from good start. He's a good kid, man. He's a good kid, well-mannered. The lights is not too big for him. His grades is good. I mean, I'm gonna learn even. I talked to him a few times, but the next time I'm in his presence, I'm gonna get the interview, and I'm gonna show y'all gonna love the kid too. Y'all gonna root for him, and I think he's a combo guard. 6'4" there. He got wider, his shoulders wider than mine. 6'4", 6'5". And he loved the pass. Like he's if you ask him, who you want to play, the 1 or 2, I think he want to play the 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Well, that's some adversity you're going to have to overcome, man. Trying to figure that out, you know, what position he going to play. And he's already overcoming the adversity of COVID, man, and making that decision, that college decision, you know. So, again, it ain't going to be easy, man. And more power to these kids out here seeking these scholarships and seeking these opportunities, and these families out here looking for their kids to continue on their legacy, man. Want to encourage that, man. You know, that's part of some of the work we're doing through Kevin Dotson Foundation, man. Shout out Cecil Kirk Basketball, you know, and all the young folks out here pursuing their dreams, man. We're going to definitely keep all y'all in mind when we come out here and spread this message through Taz TV.
Monumental day. Just to switch up the move real quick. Today, the Breonna Taylor decision, whatever you call it, is about to happen today. You know, the young lady that was killed.
The verdict come out today. Young lady that was killed out in Kentucky. If you've been watching sports, NBA, WNBA, with the Say Her Name movement, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Well, today we're going to find out. What I do know is Louisville, Kentucky. It's a state of emergency right now. And, you know, they've been preparing for riots and everything. It's just a sad situation. And the verdict hasn't even come out yet. So it just gives you that bubble in your gut. But I want to spotlight, as I think about that, I want to spotlight one of the players that I want to talk about real quick is the number 2 ranked player in the country in the 2020 class. She's headed to Maryland, 6'3" wing. Her jersey was retired, was in the Hall of Fame at her high school. McDonald's All-American, Jordan Classic All-American, flat out do it all. And she's representing the city. She representing Raystown well. Angel Reese. I feel like, I live in Oregon. But I like to watch high school sports, so I just follow St. Francis girls basketball, seeing her highlights and seeing what she can be able to do on the court is truly amazing. But it's not just a skill that I want to highlight, but she's one of the few high school elite players in the country that's speaking out for social justice. It's a heck of a job. I just want to show her some love. Who's her parents? Her mom played at UMBC, Hall of Fame. Coming has that background, and then she has a little brother that goes to St. Francis. I think you can tap on that, Calvin. I think he's 6'9". Yeah. Oh yeah.
That just the whole Reese family. I just want to show love to them, man. I just want to wish her the luck going into Maryland. Maryland highest recruit for women's basketball, and she's gonna show out and do well for the city. Just want to give her some love.
Absolutely. She's a special talent, man. I've had a chance to see her play a couple times when we've played St. Francis and the girls have played before us. Like you say, yeah, she's got a brother on the boys team, special young man. We're going to try to highlight him maybe later on this season once the boys, get to getting it in. But no, man, the women's game is growing, man, and definitely want to do our best to give them some love and some coverage on Taz TV. I referee basketball, and I also got a chance to coach some women's basketball over the last couple summers. And I just had a whole newfound appreciation for the women's game, the skill level, the fundamentals, the passion, the way it's grown, since my high school days. And man, it's exciting what's to come down the pike for the girls' game and the growth potential that they have there, man. So big props to you, Dip, for blazing the trail and jumping out there early on and covering the girls' game, and being out there on the West Coast and Oregon, you get a chance to see some special girls participating in the game. And you know, big ups to you and Andrew, and, you know, giving props to Angel Reese and her movement and her social activism movement. We encourage that and encourage all the kids to be engaged, you know, socially and in their community, man. So looking forward to seeing her at the next level, you know, getting out and continuing to develop and, you know, grow as a person. Big shout out to her, man, Angel Reese, man, and the St. Francis program, making sure we're doing our best to recognize this hard work and these families, hard work and support of these kids, man. That's all we're here to do, man, is support and help these kids overcome this adversity that comes along with this territory of pursuing your dreams out here, man.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, in the future, we're going to open the show up. But for right now, is a rap. I gotta go to what makes the money. So I like to wrap things up. Again, guys, it's the first show. We're gonna get better. I ain't even gonna lie, I was a little nervous.